Hey everyone, this is Mark with @Tech. In this video, we're going to be checking out the HDMI wireless extender from Sabrent. This product is very cool. It allows you to wirelessly transmit HDMI signals at full HD up to 60 frames per second. It even passes through PCM audio and includes an IR receiver to control things with a remote. It is a very cool product at an incredibly cheap price, so let's check it out. Opening up the box, we get a ton of things. On the top, we find our transmitter, which is very small and light, perfect for being placed on a camera. We have a receiver, which is a little bit bigger, and we also have our receiver antenna. Below that is a ton of accessories and some very useful ones at that. We have our power adapter for the receiver, also a power brick for the transmitter. We got our IR receiver, mounting ears for the receiver, mounting bracket for the transmitter, IR transmitter, and a micro USB cable for the transmitter. We also get instructions, but luckily you do not need those very much because it is pretty much plug and play, super simple and easy to get it set up and running. Taking a look around the receiver, this is made all out of metal except for plastic for the signal to pass through. It's pretty heavy and sturdy, and it should last pretty good on set. On the back we have our 5-volt power adapter plug. We have two LED lights for status, HDMI in, IR in, and our antenna port for the receiver. On the side, we do have our optional mounting ears installed. These don't really have a lot of purpose for me, but what I found is that they actually may be able to fit on the back of a VESA mount. So if you have a monitor, you may be able to VESA mount this on the back of it, which is pretty cool. Taking a look at the transmitter, this is very small and compact. On the back, we have two LED lights along with our micro USB port and IR out. And on the front, we have our HDMI plug. It's currently in the cage, which is not incredibly useful, but it is nice to have this hole, which you can use for a screw. You can mount it to the top of a camera with its cheese plate or something like that. The cage doesn't stay together super well. It does fall apart fairly easily, so if you're not planning on mounting it somewhere, you may not want to use the cage in the first place. One of the things I find incredibly useful with this setup is using it on a camera. You can mount this to pretty much any camera, and if it has an HDMI out, you can transmit that to a monitor. It's incredibly useful on set and will allow you to transmit your camera to Video Village for director's monitor. All you need is an HDMI cable. The transmitter won't fit in the port on my camera, so I'm using this cable along with a coupler, which will then allow me to plug it in. All you need is USB power. On cinema cameras, you have USB everywhere. Then you just plug in your HDMI, plug in the power, and you are all up and running on the transmitter side. For the receiver, all we need to do is plug in HDMI into our monitor and our DC 5-volt. You do need a power outlet for this, so keep that in mind. When it is waiting for the transmitter to make a connection, it'll say waiting for connection. When they do make that connection, it'll tell us to check the input because our camera is currently off. And then once the camera turns on, it'll show up right away. There is no configuring of anything needed. It works right out of the box, and there's no buttons. You can't really do anything at all. It's plug and play, and it's super simple. When it establishes a connection and it is showing something, the light will flash letting you know that it's transmitting data. If we lose connection to our camera, that right light will go off, but because it's still connected to the transmitter, it will continue to flash. And then when the transmitter goes offline, it will show a solid light. For the most part, connection is fairly good. There is a little bit of a delay and it is very noticeable, but not something incredibly bad if you're on set monitoring what the camera is doing. When it is playing back stuff, it is fairly smooth for the most part. We can use this on many other things, not just a camera. We can use this on a computer. Input lag is much more noticeable on this because you're actually controlling what is on the screen. But when it comes to playing back content like videos, it's not too bad. It is a little bit stuttery and somewhat noticeable, but it is very usable and actually a pretty great experience. I wouldn't recommend connecting your Apple TV to this and watching this on your TV all the time, but for the most part, it works very nicely and it's not that bad. What we have right here is probably the best case scenario. The transmitter is only a few feet away from the receiver, but I am happy to report that connection on this is actually incredibly good. You get about 50 feet indoors and 100 feet outdoors of connection. And while there is a little bit of lag and delay with even 2 feet, as we move further away, that input lag and delay does not really change much. You don't notice much of a difference at all when you move away, so connection is very stable and solid throughout where you use this. Overall, I'm a really big fan of this product. It's less than $250 on sale right now, so it is an incredibly great deal if you're looking into getting into the wireless video market. This is very useful on set, using it on Video Village and transmitting your data to a monitor. It does only support 1080p, but if you're only using it to monitor playback of a camera, it's very useful. It also has tons of other uses beyond cameras and cinema world. You can use this to transmit your computer to another monitor. Overall, it has a ton of really great usage, and I really do like this a lot. So if you want to pick it up, link will be down in the description below. If you like this video, leave a like and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching as always. This is Mark with @Tech, and I will see you in the next one.